Game on the line, who would take the last shot?
Me. That's a dumb question, me.
I don't need to tell you who that man is, but the 9 seconds you saw are a representation of what happens when you've achieved true confidence. But what exactly is confidence? Confidence to me is simply a person's belief in their ability to do something. Michael Jordan hit countless game-winning shots in his career, and has hit even more during practice. So the thought of taking a game-winning shot doesn't worry him at all. He does not run from the pressure, he welcomes it. Confidence is something that we all need in order to achieve our dreams. But I don't think that people realize just how important it is. Welcome to the library, a digital syllabus for champions. My name is Donnie, and this is a definitive guide on how to be confident. As I said before, having confidence is extremely important when trying to achieve basically anything in life. But I don't think people realize just how important it is. To illustrate how important it is, let me tell you a quick story. A long time ago, me and my little brother used to hoop a lot. I was helping him work on his game, and would also get a bit of a workout at myself. After a long session, these two guys asked us to play a 2v2. And of course we accepted, why not? Safe to say we got absolutely smoked. These guys were throwing dimes, hitting crossovers, and making shots that even they thought were impossible. Oh, and they were trash talking, so that made it so much worse. I played as hard as I could, but I just couldn't beat them. It got so bad that at one point I was super tired while I had the ball in my hand, and one of them literally smacked it out my hands, disrespecting me. I was distraught, but not hopeless. Me being the way I am, I thought about the game for the next couple days, plotting my revenge. Even though in hindsight, it wasn't that deep. One thing I realized is that even though I was the shortest person on the court that day, I was also the biggest and by far the strongest. So I learned how to post up, drive to the hoop by using my body, and play with aggression instead of relying on speed and athleticism. A week later, we played those two again, and I absolutely dominated. I basically played bully ball and would force contact every time I got the ball. Instead of trying to go around them or go to break their ankles, I simply went through them. And since I was so much bigger and stronger, even when they double teamed me, they couldn't stop me. Revenge was sweet, man. It's not that deep though. Now what does that have to do with confidence being important? Well, when you think about it, why did I win the second time we played? Was it because I used different tactics? Was it because of me using my size advantage? Was it because I was super motivated that day? All these things are true, but the real reason I played so well was because I was confident. If I was scared of losing or being disrespected again, I never would have played with the same aggression or desire to win. I would have been too anxious to remember all of the moves that I had learned before and way too scared to actually execute them. The truth is, we played them again after only a few days, so there's no way I beat them because I got way better. It was simply because of the mental shift I had. Here is another example of how important confidence is. We all know that most people are either left-brained or right-brained. So they're either more analytical or creative, meaning someone who is good with numbers and science will struggle in a subject like history, where there is nothing but essays, and vice versa. If that's the case, then how come the kids who got A's in science and math are usually the same kids who got A's for English and history? Do you see where I'm going with this? Surely the kid who is gifted in math finds a subject like English stupid, pointless even. But I'm sure we all know and went to school with a bunch of people who got A's in numbers subjects and more word-focused subjects. It's ridiculous to think that all these kids were simply gifted in both. That's just not true. I'm sure they struggled at some of them, but they excelled nonetheless. They excelled because it was normal. They excelled because they were used to it. They excelled because they were confident. When you were a kid in school, you wrote some tests. Either you aced them or failed them, but from that point on, you either had a very high or low confidence in your academic ability. This confidence reflects in how hard you work, the pride you take in your work, and your overall belief in your ability to achieve. Everyone knows someone who's a complete dummy and is extremely slow in social interactions, but is a genius in the classroom. And everyone definitely knows someone who is extremely smart, but has never done well in school. The key thing that separates them is confidence. He who says he can and he who says he can't are both usually right. Now that you understand how important confidence is, and how having it can change your life, we now need to ask the million-dollar question. How do I build confidence? It's important to understand that confidence is just a byproduct of a high self-esteem. If your confidence comes from external things, such as possessions, achievements, or people's opinion of you, you will never have true confidence, because as soon as you take a loss or someone says something bad about you, your confidence drops. True confidence has to be internal, hence the term self-confidence. Now, a lot of YouTube gurus will give you a bunch of dopamine-packed advice on how to build confidence, like affirmations or having a morning routine, but I'm going to give you the cold hard truth. Real confidence comes from one thing and one thing alone: raw action. The reason why professional athletes are so sure of themselves is because of how hard they work. Yes, they may use things such as affirmations and visualizations to give them the edge, but at the core of all of their confidence is the constant work that they put in. Those mental tricks don't mean nothing without hard work. When you have to make a tough shot in a basketball game, but you know that you have hit that exact shot in practice, in rain, in snow, in the heat, when you're tired, when you're sad, and when you're not in the mood, you know that you can execute it under pressure in a game. And you don't need any sort of mental practice to show up and show out. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again in 3 days.